Howdy folks, it's Meandering Mike in the man cave of madness. It's the middle of the evening and we are doing an unboxing of A Glorious Chance. This is from designer Gina Willis. It's a Legion war game. It is a solitaire game and we are doing our coverage of the Charles S. Roberts 2023 nominees for the solo or co-op category. And so let's take the shrink off. And the shrink has been removed, so we can now take a look at the back of the box without any glare. Let's look down here and zoom in to this region right here. So there are two maps, US and British campaign maps. There are ship counters and game markers, multiple player aids, unspecified number, cards, 162 of them, 2 rule books, and a playbook with design notes, tips, order of battles, etc. All right, and as mentioned, this is by designer Gina Willis. I believe this is her second game, and she is up for one of the capstone awards for Breakthrough Designer. All right, so we are looking up here. Let's zoom out a little more. That's kind of a funky angle with glare. I'm gonna put this down and look this way. All right, so this is a picture of, looks like some of the cards, the counters. I'm not sure if this is representing a card or a area on the map, like a target box or a card. We'll have to look inside and see. All right. So in the War of 1812, we're dealing with here on the Great Lakes. So Lake Ontario, 1813. We have a naval arms race heating up. So I'm not going to look at everything here, but it says it's a realistic solitaire war game, placing you in the role of the U.S. Commodore. All right. Or the Royal Naval Commodore of the British Great Lakes Navy. Your opponent is an artificial intelligence naval squadron. Okay, so it's nice that you can play the solitaire game from either side, 2 campaigns. That's much nicer than just going from one perspective. Let's go ahead and look inside the box. All right, so we're open and looking at, well, a bunch of baggies and dice, 6-sideds and a 10. Lots of cards. Like it says 162. So these are cards with targets and tactics. Looks like maybe events or combat resolution cards, things like that. So let me open this up. And the cards are out of the shrink. And let's take a look. We have what appeared to be 2 different target decks. All right, I'm assuming the red is going to be the British. And there's multiple for each location: York, South Lake, Sackett, North Lake, Niagara, and Kingston. And on these, there what appears to be a troops and or ships available, and there's the different columns, the naval balance of power, and that's a negative number, like less than or equal to -70 up to greater than 60. So here's in the middle, plus or minus 15. And so there's some number here cross-referencing, and this is showing you what you're going to get. Don't know yet, but look how there's, depending on where and how much support, balance of power, there's a certain number of things you get. That's basically what all these are. So per each location, there's multiple cards. So it's a way to randomize within this, matrix of this number and that number, and you draw one of those cards in that region, and that will determine what you're getting troop strength wise. And then this is the equivalent for the Americans. So same thing, South Lake, Sackett's, Kingston, South Lake, North Lake, etc. The same regions and a various distribution of these numbers, but instead of having ship icons, we've got a number. And there's also information down here. There's like an hourglass. I'm not sure what this is supposed to represent. Is that a map? Is that, I don't know. That's supposed to represent a bolt of sailcloth or something. That's something we'll have to discover. Not all of them have that. Some have the hourglass and whatever that symbol is. Some have none of those. Just an hourglass, just that. So yeah, I haven't seen any that has like multiple of that symbol. So it's one or the other or both or neither. All right. And so what is this number exactly here? All right. And there's some text that varies. This force does not deploy if Niagara front marker is in the Burlington Heights. This force does not deploy if the AA has already deployed its maximum 1 cutting out mission per game. All right. So I have no idea at this point what all that stuff means. Continuing to look at the cards. Now, there are tactics for the attackers and defenders, and we'll look at the other side of those in a second. Set those down. But there's also events. All right. Is that whole? Yes, all the way through here. Okay, so let's take a quick look at some of the events. Minor damage, construction delay, convoy delay, sickness, bilious fever, dysentery, and chills, fair wind, extra men, separated ships, adverse wind, haze, rainy squalls, a fair wind, missed signal, commanding breeze. All right, so that's events. Let's take a look at these tactics cards real quick. All right, there were, let's find the dividing line. There, attacker, defender, dummy. The defending side commander gives no new orders other than to continue the existing plan of defense. Escape. Oh, sorry, you weren't quite getting the whole thing in view there. Dummy. Escape. First shot. Attack used once in this gun round only. Open range. British got a +5 column shift. Mutual support negates attacker rake or attacker outmaneuver tactics. Maneuver, rake. Rate of fire, repel. Okay. That was the defender tactics. Attacker tactics. Also dummy, first shot, grapple. I think there's slightly different. Pursuit, rate of fire, surprise. So some of them were the same, some of them were different. Sweep up and fire. Interesting. The wind dies, allowing U.S. converted Laker schooners now to stand off range with the British force. Interesting. All right. So let's continue looking in the box. Oh, big rule book. It's glossy paper. Hope it's not. Yeah, see that gloss there? It actually doesn't look from here that it would be too hard to read. At certain angles, there's some glare, but it's not as bad as some are. It's very nice paper, and there's a nice index in the. I'm going to zoom out more so you can at least see the big picture of this. So a very decent index. So 43. So I'm guessing this is going to be page 1, counting it. Yes, so 44 total page rule book. Okay. British solo campaign. Table of contents. Component inventory. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Here's an example of the ship counters. Relatively simple. Looks like 3, 4 numbers and some dots. Huh. 0, 0, 0, 0, 2 dots. Can you say wimpy? Oh, there's a letter here for something. Fast ship. The growler. Yes, the growler. Markers for the tracks, for convoys, event encounters, lake combat markers, land battles, and admin counters. Pictures of the cards, game description, how to set up. Convoys, troops, AI troops, victory determination. Some of the negative British victory points and positive American points. Running total net score. And here we go. So British decisive, negative 33 or less. Draws plus or minus 10. You got to have at least 11 to get a US marginal. So 11, 22, 3. Interesting. So there's a 1 point range for a draw, and then starting at 11 either side, and a 10-point spread to go from marginal to a victory to a decisive victory. All right. Sequence of play, determining the kind of ship upgrades, new ships or upgrades, repairs. Army support, assigning ships. So very good integration of various charts, diagrams, little boxes with important information. It's an adequate gutter in the middle. The spacing looks good, 2 columns. Nice sized font, the bold section headers. Quite readable. So maybe, 44 pages, but the text is not small, so that's not too bad at all. So I'm going to flip from the back. Now, let's see. Well, I'm looking forward to this. Did they have like 2 separate, how to read the British campaign and then the US campaign? Is it really 2 repeated sections? Well, let's go back to that table of contents. Well, the whole thing, it said there was 2 rule books. So this whole thing is for the British solo campaign. There is some errata. 1 counter is mismarked. There's text on a die roll, like chart, that may be mislabeled. It's consistent between them there. So that's not a lot of errata. And these look like it's pretty easy to probably fix that right on the map. Alter the number to make it look right. All right. So yeah, so 2. Wow, this one, no, it's the same size. I think I just, 44 pages. So depending on which one you want to play first, I mean, obviously, once you've played one, the other one's going to be very, very similar, but it's written from the perspective of which side you're playing. And so it might sound like a lot of redundancy, but that does make it easier to digest and work through it. It's to have 2 rule books from the perspective of which campaign you're playing. And the playbook, player's notes, designer notes, order of battle, developer's notes, extended example of play, learning scenario, the Burlington races, late combat scenario. All right. Rainy squalls. Okay, that looks real nice. This is what exactly, 20 pages. The last page is suggested reading and sources. Learning scenario, there's 2 pages for that, etc. All right. The counters, the eye candy has arrived. All right, that's about the right size that you should be able to see that. So nice, double wide ship counters, the size of 2 the smaller counters. As we saw in the pictures, it's just basically the 4 numbers. Well, we saw what an F was, and I'm not seeing any of those F ships right now. That was supposed to be fast. There's some T ships. What's the T stand for? Like transport? Transporting troops? Don't know. We look at the back. Do we see that F on this side? No. So that is interesting. I don't see any of those ships that were marked with an F. Might be missing it. Oh, there's one. There's one, and there's one F and T. So don't know what the T means, but T. We can go back and try to find that later, I guess. 2 counter sheets. So this is all markers of various sorts. All right. Fight on, melee. Reflag, so there's a capture ship that's been reflagged. Lake control. Land battle, major success. Few arms. What was that on the other side of land battle? Here, these ones. So it depends on whose perspective was the success. All right. And the map. There was 2. Wait, there's 3. All right, what is it? That's just a sheet of paper. There's 4. All right, so these are like battle charts. There's a multiple player aids, lake combat sequence, one-sided. This is a fold out. Wow. All right, so what do we got here? Gunnery round 1, gunnery round 2, close action round. All right, so your ships could be lined up here. They're moving. Interesting. All right, so big battle area, shooting. American home port display. All right. British, same thing. British solo key map key. So map key. All right, and the other side is the setup, the U.S. map, American AI Force Packages. Interesting. All right. I know there's another card there. Whoa, that's interesting. Gunnery hit distribution. Huh. Were those numbers that we saw on those target cards? Huh. Interesting. Did I know? Land battle table. Number of troop markers. Long gun strength of attacker ships. So this naval support. If you have naval support, you'll be on one of these subcolumns, the number of troop markers, and then 2 dice expressed as 11D to 60. So not summing them, but making them 2 6-sided numbers. All right. Die roll, key die rolls and numbers reference. All right, so let's look at these maps and then cut it short here. I'm trying to make this 20 minutes or under. Can I succeed? Can I succeed? The British map, pretty glossy. Gonna have some shine on this. All right. So all the information, and again, from the perspective of the player for the York raid, land battle, Burlington Heights is over there. Kingston Harbor, Sackett's Harbor, Oswego, Sodus, Charlotte. All right, can you see that there? I'm gonna tilt that up a little more. The net naval balance score, how many target cards you draw. Interesting. Actual ships, victory points, each ship named and how many points it's worth. Destroyed or captured. Get those important flagships. All right, so we should expect that the American map will be the same but different from the perspective of who's where, doing what, to whom, when. Lake combat. Chart, Fort George, Fort Niagara, etc., the same places. Now, this information is all the same, it looks like. So I'm not sure exactly what information is going to be different on each map, at what place, what point, but it should be appropriate to the position that you're playing. So they have gone ahead, instead of trying to cram on one map, they've got 2 of the same thing but different to make your experience work appropriately. I mean, everything here looks the same, but you'd have to fine-tooth comb it to see what the differences are and things like that. So that'll be very interesting to see, to actually get into this later and do a deeper dive. So this has been A Glorious Chance, a solitaire game by designer Gina Willis. This is her second game that she's done. We've got cards, counters, mini charts, maps, all those goodies, dice, many fun stuffs. So this has been Meandering Mike, another unboxing. This is Charles S. Roberts Award nominee for the solitaire category. I got 2 more unboxings no, just one actually, because I already unboxed one of the other ones. I just did one yesterday and had previously done one. So one more to go. Halls of Hegra will be up next. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully tomorrow. Got a lot to get done before the week's up. Try to get as much in as I can on my coverage. So all you good folks out there, take care. Enjoy your solitaire games, and ciao.